This is not your traditional obituary in most ways, but we should all get to know Andy. Absolutely. Feel like I need to say this. If it becomes necessary, I'm on a couple other platforms. Okay, this is Andy. We have said our final farewell to a patriot with a larger-than-life personality. Andy McCaffrey was tough and loud and funny. And when you were his people, that was it. He was the first arm amputee to recertify as a Green Beret and deploy. As such, he paved the way working with doctors to create the specialized prosthetics needed to do everything from pull-ups to inserting IVs. McCaffrey had stories and the personality that made him an asset to veteran fundraising groups. He was dedicated to those groups, including the Mindful Memorial Foundation, and it is fitting that he was laid to rest at Arlington National Cemetery with his brothers and sisters, where he volunteered countless hours in his retirement. I met SFC McCaffrey at Fort Bragg. I was a breastfeeding mother who had just come off maternity leave, a leg in the land of the airborne. Okay, pause. I had to look up what the word leg mean, and it says a slightly derogatory term for a soldier who doesn't jump from aircraft. The more you know. That didn't matter to SFC McCaffrey. He knew I was dedicated and loyal and wouldn't put up with his crap. And he loved to give people crap. Look at the picture of Secretary Mattis. McCaffrey bumped into him at Arlington and asked for a picture. The general complied, and Andy gave him his prosthetic arm and then snapped a selfie himself. When you hear about the 22 veterans a day that commit unaliving, trying not to get censored here, or the 3,000 a day dying from COVID, it is easy to become numb. These are people, not numbers, and they leave behind families like the beautiful Karen and Brandon and Isabel. Andy McCaffrey was a patriot and a character, and I am honored to have served him. Rest easy, brother, until Valhalla. This is from a soldier named Heather who served with Andy. And despite the notoriety of Andy, it's not like he was a famous person. He was famous in his world. There was a couple articles about him, especially taking part in the Warrior Games, which I'm guessing are for soldiers with wounds, war wounds, or amputations or whatever. So what this makes me think of is very often, I think, when I encounter hard things, I think the temptation is to throw a massive pity party, and that's deserved and justified. But sometimes I wonder what, if truly tested, like Andy was, like with his limb, his arm, what I would do, how I would go about things after that. I mean, he brought humor and health he kept it into his world, which shows kind of an extraordinary mindset. Not everybody has that, but I always wonder what would happen. There was a potential of a very serious health issue for someone in my immediate family at one point, and it didn't happen, but I always wondered in those nights worrying about it, like, what would my reaction be? Could I be someone like Andy that just, when the final story is told, they were able to find humor, light, health, wisdom in all of that, despite the really, really hard things? I don't know the answer to that. Maybe that's coming in the future. I have no idea. None of us do. But anyway, I really, really, really appreciate how they're sending me this story. I'm glad to know Andy. I think we can all say that we have more strength than we know, and this is a good example of that. Thank you, Heather. Thank you, Andy.